Hi, this is Joel Erickson and Nate Atkins. We're here from day 3 of Colts practice for training camp. It was back together day, so tons of people here, full house on hand. Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew shared first team reps for the first time. The first days it was Gardner Minshew got all of them, then Anthony Richardson got all of them. Today it was mixed up. But talking about practice today kind of doesn't matter because Jim Irsay spoke after practice and after meeting with Jonathan Taylor on his bus, which was just outside the practice field. And essentially, there is no resolution to the situation. Basically, what Irsay said was they're going to hold firm to their position. They're not going to do any contract negotiations at this time. They want to see if they have a good season this year and then figure it out going forward.
Yeah, he kept saying just how hopeful he was that this season would go well, the mix of Jonathan Taylor playing with Anthony Richardson, and he's saying that directly to Jonathan Taylor, clearly with the hope that he's going to come out here and come off the PUP list and practice and play this year out and then see what happens. That's what the franchise clearly wants Jonathan Taylor to do. And Jonathan Taylor, as we know, wants that extension now. And you can understand why he wants that when this franchise has a history of doing it at this time of year. Just last year they did it with Quentin Nelson, signed him to $20 million a year. And so Jonathan, he has a right to feel the way that he feels. And part of what they were meeting with on the bus was just to kind of try to clear the air. It's been kind of a nasty week for this franchise and for JT's camp as well.
He put Taylor and Nelson together in the same quote at one point, saying they both are players who have the capability to be Hall of Fame players, but obviously Nelson was signed coming off of an injury. Taylor is not going to be signed at this point coming off of an injury. He also, I think that maybe beyond the Taylor stuff, one of the bigger threads here is just how much he hammered on that they were not good last year and they have to see where this team is. It was maybe more of a clear acknowledgement that this team is maybe more in a rebuilding mode than they have acknowledged to this point so far. At least to me, because you're saying we don't want to make any moves contract-wise going forward because we're just not sure what we have. That's not a team that's in the middle. That's more of a team that's on the bottom and trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah, and it fits some of their actions recently, just the fact that they haven't made changes in the offensive line. Cornerback room is incredibly young. They lose Isaiah Rodgers Sr. for the year to a gambling suspension, and there's not a signing to follow that. So everything is mostly in this evaluative state. But with this franchise, there's always a little bit of mixed messaging going on because they did tell DeForest Buckner, we're not rebuilding. And he's one of the guys they have paid and made a franchise cornerstone. So it'll just be interesting to see kind of how the players react to the message that's coming from right now from Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay is much more about we have to let this play out with the rookie quarterback. It's likely a rebuild and see kind of how a team that up until this year has been trying to win, how they want to adjust to that.
So to recap, most important things, Jonathan Taylor and Jim Irsay met. It did not change the situation at all. We still don't know when Jonathan Taylor will come off of PUP. He is still not going to get an extension until after this season, if that's going to happen. So for all of this stuff that we're saying, we're basically in the same place that we were when Irsay revealed to ESPN a couple nights ago that they were not going to offer Jonathan Taylor a contract extension at all. For the Indy Star, I am Joel A. Erickson. This is Nate Atkins.
I think we just talked and really, as you guys probably would not be surprised, it's something that's going to stay between us, Bob, but it was just a good conversation and again, we're just hopeful and going forward, looking forward to a great season, hoping Jonathan's a big part of that, and so I think we had a good conversation. And well, I'm not going to talk about his situation, directly. That's something that Jonathan and I, have discussed, and Chris will discuss with him and his agent. And I'm not saying, right time, wrong time, anything like that. All I'm saying is that, we go forward in the best way we can to have a great football team and treat everyone fairly. And at this point, again, there's a lot of work to be done, and it's not about talking about individual contractual cases. It's about going forward, and we know who's under contract. We know what we're going into this season with, and it's to get it's to get ready to go as soon as we can, and pull together. So I'm not going to speak specifically about right time, wrong time, and those sorts of things. I can only tell you that I'm hopeful that we can pull together and everyone's going to be together going forward on this football team. I think that it's something where he has to make sure that he's healthy, and I'm not going to get into any details about that, but we expect that he should have an outstanding year. EJ Speed had a similar surgery, and he's doing really well. And it's not the type of surgery that you shouldn't have success with a lot. So at this point, Mike, I mean, it's not anything where it's early in the process, and we want to make sure everyone's 100% when they get on the field and get ready to go. So no, I mean, we don't have really any concerns. I think I'm hopeful that we all understand the situation we're in. We're all professionals, and we have to pull together to have a great season.